I'm Annie.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Lactation Business Coaching with Annie and Leah, where we talk about the smart way to create a compassionate and professional private practice.
Let's dive in.
Well, hey there, Leah.
Hey, Annie. How are you today?
Well, I'm feeling super emotional because we're talking about insurance.
My heart starts pounding at just the words insurance on so many levels. I can totally relate to us feeling emotional because I feel like recently I have felt a lot of emotion around insurance.
It's been quite a year for one of the in-network companies and a whole bunch of letters that a whole bunch of us gotten asking for a whole bunch of money back. And that's terrifying.
I know. It's just been so crazy, just the whole journey being a lactation consultant. And in the beginning, like insurance wasn't even really on my mind. And now as I've tiptoed more and more into it, it's like, what have I taken on? Like, not only have I taken on like, oh, hey, a way for my clients to get their visits covered, which is great, but also like this whole giant emotional toll. And I think it just is like, there's so many pieces to it that make it like even more than just like, hey, a business decision to take on insurance. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, starting with the fact that there are 11,000 billion trillion codes in that manual, which I know because I've purchased it and I've combed through it. And there's only one that's for lactation, just one code to rule them all. It's the most general, like catch-all code. And for me, being in network, it pays less. By the way, I just always have to remind this. Everybody else in the country gets paid more for that code than those of us who are in New York City by the one company that takes us all in network. It's kind of wild. I'm like, I thought it costs more to live here than elsewhere, but okay, maybe not.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong.
And maybe the fact that like not even all insurance companies even recognize us as somebody who could provide a service, which is just so frustrating. I have clients message me all the time, like my insurance company says that you're not a person that can provide any service, like they don't recognize you. And that's so like, how can I help these people get their services covered if I can't even be recognized as a provider or be in network? You know, I tell my clients all the time, like literally the only reason this isn't covered because they won't allow me to be in network with you. They do not recognize me as someone who can be in network.
Which is bananas. And because the other care providers, the pediatricians and the OBs and the midwives don't have time for lactation clients. Like they're busy. They're trying to take care of like sick people and help people have their babies. And if that's the provider they're talking about, that you have to be an MD, like show me that MD, show me that specialty, show me that group of people that is dedicated themselves to medical level. Oh, guess what? It's IBCLCs. Imagine that. And it's also like having this high level of education, working so hard to achieve this credential as an IBCLC, and then having this like uncertainty about whether I'm actually going to get paid for the work that I do, you know, whether it's a client not booking with me because they can't afford the out of pocket, they can't even afford a sliding scale that I'm offering because they know their insurance is never going to reimburse it, or wondering if I'll take an insurance client and then randomly they'll just decide not to pay the claim. And then I'm spending time and money to call them and be like, no, we did code it right. This is actually a legit claim. Can you please just pay it the way you pay all the other ones? Because I got to get paid. I got to pay my people. It's really frustrating.
It is. And then it's like the whole coding thing. Like if we only have one code, but then they're like, oh, but wait, there's all these other codes that you could potentially use, but sometimes we'll be okay with those. And then sometimes we won't be okay with those. So like, I hope you can figure it out, but we have like no real guidance for you other than like, here's 50 codes that you could potentially try. I find it and like maddening in my head. Like, I just want to run away sometimes and be like, is this really worth it? I don't even know.
And like, they give us the codes, but then like I get EOBs where I'm like, I literally use the code that you literally said is a lactation code with the literal diagnosis code you told me to use,
Right.
or the literal services you say are covered and you're not paying it.
And you're not
Like,
paying it. Like,
what else do you
what
want me to
does that
do?
even mean? It
Ugh.
feels like a mind game almost. Like, I don't know. It just really can trip with your brain sometimes. And then, it just adds to the stress of running a business because you're like, you got to have money coming in because you got to pay yourself, people that might work for you. And that's just like such an underlying low level, like always there. And that's it's just so hard.
I get so worried too that even talking about money or any stress around money is going to negatively impact my relationship with my client. And this is something, we talked in our last episode about boundaries with high needs clients. And I broke a boundary. One of my very firm boundaries is I don't get on the phone with clients unless they're angry at me about something that Aetna did. And then I will get on the phone with them during my vacation and talk to them for 40 minutes to try to talk them down because they get mad at me. And I'm like, I didn't do it. I'm just the person that didn't get paid. Like, I don't know what to say.
Totally.
And then I'm just like, never mind, it's fine. But like, I don't want that to damage that where they're going with their breastfeeding relationship. But then I'm like, okay. And then I just like didn't get paid.
Yes, it's so hard. And I have that, like, I'm such a hard time, even, on non-insurance situations, talking about money with clients, because it is really hard. And I feel like, not a lot of professions in the medical world directly, the person that's working with the client is also the one that's going to directly talk to them about the financial side of it. Like most other healthcare providers have somebody else taking that role. And it does make it really hard sometimes because you don't want to let it interfere with that client, relationship. But oh my gosh, it can really interfere when, not only are they dealing with breastfeeding struggles, but now they're going to have these financial impact that they might have not expected, or what, it's just so challenging. I mean, the only thing that makes me feel somewhat better is like, ever since you came on the scene, Annie, this is like props to Annie. I have learned so much. And I know that you have spent like countless number of hours, probably worth millions of dollars, learning about insurance so that you could share it with us, and then finding other people who know a lot about insurance and bringing them to the table. And that has relieved so much of my stress, because whenever I start to panic, I just go back to your book about insurance and I'm like, okay, let me read it again, make sure everything's okay, because it really can, oh my gosh, you just feel like there's no resources for us. And so I cannot even tell you how grateful I am for all the hard work that you've done. You deserve some kind of award or medal for that. And for I'm excited for us because we keep trying to reach out to people who we know a lot about insurance and try to bring them to the table for you guys so that you guys won't be in the same emotional turmoil, which I'm sure we all are, but we're trying to pull us out of it.
Well, and one of those people that I have found super amazing about insurance is Rebecca Costello. So anybody that did the Lactation Private Practice Essential course last spring, it had an insurance add-on. So we had Donna Sinnott, who co-wrote the crash course with me. She taught the learning portion of it. And then Rebecca and I did what was supposed to be only a 1 hour hot topics in lactation insurance that ended up being 2 hours of us just talking about insurance. And then when it was over, we're like, okay, I guess we can wrap up now. And people were still there, by the way.
No, don't stop.
And we ended the Zoom. We're like, okay, bye everybody. And then talk for another 20 minutes about insurance. Gosh. Rebecca's good people. And she and I are developing a different kind of insurance course later this year that's going to have a lot of self-study in it, a lot of implementation. So that's why I'm really excited. She's coming on this deeper dive with us where we're going to really get to hear from her about all the things. She really brings not just the wonky, here's what this code means, the kind of math of it, but she has a really big picture view about how these insurance emotional, like these aspects of it affect things like Medicaid and equitable care and sliding scale and working with physicians' offices and all the things, all these kind of pathways that we can see towards making lactation care more accessible and more affordable. She really is thinking a lot about that big picture and the kind of change that really does feel so daunting. Kind of like, oh, well, if we just like overhauled the whole entire system, then maybe it'll be great. But there's also chipping away at it, one piece at a time and making a difference. What can you do in your community to leverage what the system can do for you and avoid some of those pitfalls that can bring you down or really cause trouble for clients too?
I cannot wait. I'm always so interested in how we can make some kind of change other than just, feeling like, okay, they were stuck with the way that it is, but like understanding how we might be able to make change in all these areas. Just can't wait to hear more about it. And I'm so excited about our deeper dive with her. I'm like waiting, like, is it today? Come on. It's not soon enough.
Excited. And we're going to have the link in the show notes. And we'll put the link to that the previous insurance course too, if you're interested in a few quick SERPs about insurance and hearing me and Rebecca go on and on for 2 hours, but we'll have that deeper dive. And if you're listening to this and the deeper dive is already passed, guess what? You can buy the recording.
Yes,
so it's the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind of insurance is just always surrounding you. I don't even know what that metaphor means, but I think sometimes when I think about insurance, I really just wish I could erase my brain and forget everything I ever know about it.
I know. Well, you've dedicated a lot of time to it. So please don't erase your brain. Let's just try to move out of this emotional space. And if we can take more ownership and change and feeling like we're not just at the mercy of it all by learning and understanding it better, I know that's where we're going to see more and more shift. So I hope to see you guys all there. Everyone that's listening, you will benefit from being on this deeper dive with us and really learning more. And we're going to touch on these emotional aspects, but also the nitty gritty of it as well. So we really look forward to having you guys there.
We can't wait. And until next time, bye, Leah.
Bye, Annie.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about our monthly deeper dives and how to support our podcast for as little as $1 a month, visit lactationbusinesscoaching.com. Don't forget to leave us a rating and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.